Talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It's Monday, July 26th. I'm Jeff here with my friends Tori on the end there and Erica. That's not Steph down there. What happened to your accent?
What you mean?
No.
I can't do it.
No.
I can't do it.
Hey, that wasn't bad to start off on Monday.
Much better.
I want more of that throughout the show.
No, we'll never have it.
Sure, stick around. All right, is there any question that Bennifer was back together, okay? This is it, guys. J-Lo and Ben Affleck are Instagram official. We're not doing this story anymore.
I'm so tired
To celebrate J-Lo's 52nd birthday, the pair celebrated on a yacht in Saint-Tropez. J-Lo posted a steamy photo of them kissing, and it's the first time that she's posted since getting back together. So it's official, no more question marks. But things got cheeky from there. It looks like they recreated that infamous shot from J-Lo's 2002 Jenny from the Block music video where Ben helped himself to a little handful of Jen's behind. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Please, thoughts.
Thoughts. I'm really here for this Jen and Ben 2.0. And I think, everyone keeps talking about the amount of time from the A-Rod situation, but Jen's 52, although she doesn't look 25.
No, she does not.
Or she looks. Oh, she does look 25.
Yeah.
And I think that she's at a point in her life where she's truly looking for companionship and lifelong companionship. So if you aren't in a position in your life or at a place in your life to provide that, then someone else will. And I think that people need to start thinking about marriage in that way. It's not about all of the little things that are happening, you know, that we elevate so much on social media. It's about what happens when you're at home and you need support and you need to support each other. And I love this.
I like it too. Do you like it? But I love it, but I'm done with it.
You're tired of it.
Like, it's an Instagram official, speaking of social media. There's no new news here. They're back together. Good for them. Wow, 20 years later. It's over now. Let them live.
Well, the news is the booty shot, which was so cute. I mean, I got to be with Erica here. Bennifer gives me all the feels. And I don't want to take that away from
Does it really?
Yeah, the Jennifer Garner or anything.
How does your day change?
You know what it was? It's that they obviously they left as friends. They left as with good energy, and they found that energy back. And I feel like when people find each other again in a second way, they're getting a second shot. That gives me a lot of hope for a lot of people.
So this changes the mood, like, of your day.
No, it's like, oh, that's nice.
Kelly off street saying yes. Yes.
For you, Kelly, or for Kelly, it changes her whole mood.
She's answering for you.
No, I'm fine with it. I love them together. I think they're going to do well together.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Is there a right amount of time to start dating after you lose a partner? Host Amanda Klutz lost her husband, actor Nick Cordero, to COVID-19 last July. We remember that. She just revealed that she's dating again, but she's getting a ton of flack for it. One Instagram user even said, dating again? Wow, that's fast. Okay, I'll start this one off, okay? It's last July, so it's more than a year. I gotta say a year's the number. If you're gonna put a number on it, which I don't think you even need to, I would say a year's acceptable.
I don't think you need to put a number on it, period, and people really need to stay in their lane and mind their business. Like, this woman went through so much.
Yes.
You know, the fact that she lost her husband, they had a newborn.
Brand new.
You know, like, that is a lot for anyone to handle. And you don't know the conversations that they've had leading up to that. You don't know, like, when Anthony and I, my husband Anthony and I were estate planning, we talked about this. Like, I would want him to move on.
I would too.
And I would want him to find happiness in someone who would help support the family. So the idea that someone would stick their nose in a complete stranger for someone who's trying to move on with her life in memory with her husband. There's a shining memory of her husband with her every day in the form of their child. She should be able to have companionship.
And listen, being the only parent up here, you don't know what it's like raising a child, let alone single. God bless all the single parents out there. Literally, God bless them. Having two is it's too much for us. You know what I mean? So to move on in that sense, only you get a little extra help for the kid. Never mind how much time it is. You need that extra help if you could get it.
Absolutely. And I just have to agree with all of you and also just add that I've been through a lot of grief. Grief is really very subjective for each person. You all have a different type of grief. My grief takes a lot longer sometimes. Sometimes it's really short with anger. Sometimes it's really mellow and it takes me a long time. She's young, she's beautiful, she's successful, she has this kid, she might have had his blessing, and the idea that her grief is now your business should be your first red flag that you should stay out of her bedroom.
I like that we're giving it to people on social media. Like it's the first time they've ever chimed in. And this one wasn't even bad. Wow.
Dare you?
No, this feels more egregious than most. You know, to really try to insert yourself in the situation and say your feelings for, I mean, this is a trauma situation. And a lot of people, and on top of it, let's not remember that millions of people died unexpectedly in the past year and a half from COVID. A lot of people are in this situation, and I think that amplifies everything.
Go, Amanda.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Is there beef between two former NSYNC band members? Say it ain't so.
Oh, God.
That's what fans are asking after Lance Bass threw some shade at Justin Timberlake for not answering his texts. Okay, so this weekend, Lance posted a TikTok video showing him happy and dancing. See that? With the message, when JT finally responds to my text. JT responded by saying, once those babies show up, your unavailability will all make sense. I feel you, JT. So Lance, who is expecting twins via a surrogate this fall, responded by saying, touche. Justin has two kids, 6-year-old Silas and 12-month-old Phineas, so no beef there. But let me ask you guys, is there ever a good reason for someone not to respond to your text, even if it's Tori?
Yes. let's normalize people creating boundaries and not responding to texts or answering calls. I mean, it's
Ooh,
ridiculous.
a round of applause.
Yeah,
I like it.
We are so accessible, and I think whether it's because you have children or because you are caregiving in a different capacity, everyone has responsibilities, and we need to normalize boundaries because people feel like just because our phones are always with us that we should be at people's beck and calls. We have lives and we have responsibilities, and we have to prioritize just like anything else. So no, there is never a reason. You shouldn't always have to have a reason for not responding to a text. Sometimes it's just, I ain't feel like it.
And I'm not on work. Let me tell you about France. You want to know something about France?
What? France?
In France, it's against the law to check your work email after work because they believe so strongly in the culture of life. They don't live to work. No, they don't. I was going to mess it up.
Man, you were at your computer before this, and you're like, I'm going to crush it with this France story, and it's failing.
They work to live, not live to work. And Americans are obsessed.
Isn't that most Europeans, though?
Yes, and I wish that culture, as she said, would transfer. When we hear the ding, I've heard podcasts about that, just your message alert that says you have one makes you immediately jump into a different brain pattern. You're on work, you're fight or flight. It's a different point of view. So you don't need to always respond to the ding. It's like the dog. What is it?
Pavlov's
dogs. That's right, where they salivate at the sound of a ding. Wow, I can't believe you taught me something. Well done, Jeff. You feel good?
First of all, I think it's a different kind of human if your phone isn't always on vibrate. If you have a ringtone and like your phone's like dee 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 dee, you're like, listen, that person's never coming over to my house. Am I right? Is there some like?
But what if you're like a doctor, someone who needs like a ding? Or a lawyer, ding.
So you're taking extreme situations and placing them in everyday situations.
I guess, yeah.
My phone is on permanent, what's it called? Calls and notifications will be silenced.
Whoa.
Permanently. Yeah, permanent do not disturb. Just like, do not disturb.
That's Erica's all about
Erica's hardcore.
Every call goes to voicemail.
I like that.
I do too.
There's too much communication. The energy is just too much, y'all. It's too much. We're over communicators.
We are so much alike. Coming up on DBL, the Summer Games are in full swing, and we're talking to past gold medal winners. Gymnast Gabby Douglas tells us what it's like competing under pressure. Plus, swim star Amy Van Dyken shares her road to glory and overcoming adversity after a paralyzing ATV accident. That's coming up.
Close.
Yeah, so we're continuing this conversation about is there ever a reason not to respond to a text? That's just how I feel, and I've had to come to Jesus in this moment because I realized how much anxiety
it causes.
It causes constantly having to respond to people.
And it changes your, like, from going to a restful state to like an on-work state, changes your neuroplastic sense of the brain, so you're always on, and it makes your immune system go down. It's actually quite bad for you to always be on. That's why in France they want you to just kind of like break and stop, which is, I think, really nice.
I think it's also important to teach people, like, you have to train people what your communication style is. In the moment that if you send a text message, and if I text you right back, and then you text me right back, and I text you right back, then the expectation is that I'm always going to be available to have that exchange with you. And people don't take context clues from that. So, like, then, you're in a situation where you can't give that person your time, and then now they think you're being rude.
Yeah, they're insulted, right?
So you have to be rude from the beginning.
Remember,
They make phones, they make social media, they make it all like slot machines in the sense that it wants to attract you. You want to keep coming back to your phone. You want to swipe it and update it. You want it to make those dings the same as the Wheel of Fortune. The creators of Twitter and Instagram talk about this, how they make it addicting so you don't leave. It's out there. We never talk about it. The creator said, we made it addictive. We're going to get you addicted. But people are addicted and they don't even know it, and they keep going, oh, no, I got this under control. And it's out of control.
It is. And let me say one last thing. Some people are a bill. Some people are an investment. Don't expend your energy on too many people when they're bills. Invest in the people that'll give you an investment later on. history in Tokyo right now, and it's given us all the feels. That's why we sat down with gold medalist Amy Van Dyken to reminisce about their Summer Games magic. That's today's Beyond the Medal. The year is 1996 when 23-year-old Amy Van Dyken launches herself into Summer Games history. She wins gold in 4 swimming events, becoming the first American woman to accomplish such a feat, and crowning her the most successful athlete at the Atlanta Games. 4 years later, Amy returns to the Games, where she wins 2 more gold medals. She is one of only a handful of athletes who can say, "All my medals are gold." Amy retires from swimming after her appearance in the Sydney Games. But in 2014, she makes headlines again after an ATV accident leaves her paralyzed from the waist down. Today, Amy's competitive spirit is stronger than ever, even defying doctors' expectations and walking again, proving a true champion never gives up.
A true American hero, Amy Van Dyken.
Yeah.
Oh, Amy, we love you.
I love you. It is so good to see you guys. I wish I were there in person, but this is good enough for now.
Now, an athlete's mental strength is just as important as their physical strength. So let's talk about the mind games that athletes like to play. Because apparently, you were the queen of messing with competitors. What were some of the things that you used to do while swimming?
Oh, Sam. Well, it started in the ready room, and you know the ready room because you were a swimmer, right? So you're in there a half an hour before you have to start your, if you're like 30 seconds late, they call you DQ. So I would sit there and I would turn around to my competitors, and one time I went knee to knee. We were about that far away from each other, and I just sat there for a half an hour. I didn't know what to do, so I just stared at her.
All right, I got to ask about this. One of your mind games that I actually remember, it got a lot of backlash during the Sydney Games. You spat water in a competitor's lane and the world went crazy. So, Amy, why'd you do it?
Yep.
And were you like kind of surprised by the backlash?
Shocked at the backlash because I had been doing it in high school. And as a matter of fact, one of the people who made a big deal about it had done an interview with me 2 weeks prior while we were at the Olympics talking about the spitting, and then acted shocked when I did it. And how dare she do that? And I was like, wait, we just talked about that.
Interesting.
So I don't know, it bummed me out a little bit, and I think that's why I wanted to get into media. So, and you know, do a lot of swimming stuff because I don't want other swimmers to feel like I felt in that moment.
Amy, you still hold the record when it comes to gold medals at the Games. You are the only American female to win 4 gold medals in a single appearance at the Games. Do you believe anyone is going to break your record?
So yes, Jeff, I do. I think Katie Ledecky is going to break that record. We were talking about it this morning, and some of the people that I'm working with have a different opinion. Here's the thing. I've already bought the champagne. So the second that she does it here in the hotel room, I'm going to pop that bottle and celebrate. Because the thing is, I wanted to be there when she did it. Like, I wanted to give her a hug. Obvious reasons, I'm not in Tokyo and I can't give her a hug. So I'm just going to pop some champagne and have a glass.
Looking back on your gold medals, do you have a favorite of the 6?
Yes, I do. It was the 100 butterfly because I was not the best 100 butterflyer in the country, let alone the world. But you just have to be the best in that moment.
In fact, you know, you've been such an inspiration on so many different levels because in 2014, you had your ATV accident. And a couple years later, you came to our studio to tell us how your life changed after that. How did your champion mindset help you in your recovery, Amy?
Well, I believe that it helps immensely in physical therapy. When I was at Craig Hospital in Colorado, I would see a lot of people who were in pain and they felt they had to stop. Well, I knew what pain I could push through. And so I felt like I could push myself further. Also, being an Olympian, you know, you've got to overcome obstacles. It looks beautiful on TV, but the Olympics is not always the easiest swim meet to be at. You know, you're in a different country, there's different food, sleeping conditions, what have you. So I really think that it taught me resilience, how to plan ahead, and, you know, just how to sit there and, I guess, feel the feels, if you will, right? If you're having a bad day, like, cry it out and don't let it back in.
So to our DBL Nation, follow Amy on Instagram. I'm already a follower, and her post will make you laugh, cry, smile, you name it. She's going to come back and join us in the studio. Amy, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys so much. I love you. Be well.
Love you.
See you soon.
Bye, love.
We'll be right back.
We all know.
Increases in COVID cases and hospitalizations has some health experts calling for the return of face masks. So will the CDC change its message on masks? Let's connect the dots. Back in May, vaccination rates were high and case counts were low. The Center for Disease Control declared it was safe for fully vaccinated people to toss their masks in most settings. We all know what happened next. Vaccine rates slowed down and the Delta variant hit hard. Health experts say the CDC decision was backed up by science, but unfortunately not human behavior. That led to unvaccinated and unmasked individuals fueling the spread of the contagious Delta variant. Now, White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci says fully vaccinated people might want to consider putting the mask back on. While the vaccines are effective, they don't offer 100% protection. Dr. Fauci says if the vaccinated want added protection, they can wear a mask indoors, especially in crowded places. Despite that new recommendation, experts say it's unlikely there will be a nationwide mask mandate because the pushback would be extreme. Instead, with 99.5% of all U.S. COVID deaths now being unvaccinated people, the focus will be on more people getting the shot.
DBL. Well, the summer games have officially kicked off, and we're catching up with one of the Fierce Five, honey. In today's Beyond the Medal, we talk to Gabby Douglas, and nothing about it is routine. Take a look.
Her mom always used to say, inspire a generation. And that's exactly what Gabby Douglas did at just 16 years old. Gabby was the first African American to become the individual all-around champion at the 2012 Summer Games in London. As an adrenaline junkie, it's no surprise that she took the zest for life and applied it to gymnastics. Gabby Douglas is a 3-time gold medalist, and she taught us all that there's no I in team.
Yes, we're here with American gymnast and gold medalist. Yes, honey. Gabby Douglas. Thank you so much for coming on DBL. Gabby.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is our honor. Now, we can't wait to hear about the Unjunk Your Sleep tour, but first, let's talk Summer Games. You were the first African American to win you were the first African American to win an individual gold medal. Walk us through that moment at the podium. What was going through your mind, because we can all remember what was going through ours?
Oh my goodness, it was like a dream come true. It was like a Hollywood ending, like a Disney, a Disney movie where everything, the outcome works, and it was it was so successful. And honestly, it was just like I literally had a flashback standing up on the podium, and I was like, all the hard work, the training, the blood, sweat, and tears, like all the adversity, the opposition, all the challenges I had to overcome and face, and I just thought, like, this is my life. Like, this is not even a medal. Like, this is my life. And it was just such a phenomenal feeling.
I love that she thinks it's like bluebirds came in at the end and gave her the medal. It's a Disney ending, Gabby. Athletes are participating in the opening ceremonies, and you were there. We want to know, what is it like to be there with all the teams? Is it like exhausting, or is it super exhilarating?
We were never allowed to actually perform or even engage in the opening ceremonies, because we compete right after that. So we honestly had to just be in bed, and we could watch a little bit on the TV, but we weren't really allowed to participate. We had to I missed the opening ceremonies twice because I've been so grateful to be a part of both Olympics in 2012 and 2016, but we weren't allowed to
That's
participate.
so interesting.
So, Gabby, earlier this week, gymnast alternate Kara Eaker caught COVID, and now she can't compete. So how do you think this will affect the Team USA going forward into the competition?
I honestly have so much respect, and I applaud these athletes during this time, because it is so hard and so difficult. Not only do you have to train, but also too, like, there's a pandemic going on, and now you have to social distance, and now you have to be careful who you're around, who you touch, what you touch. And then there's a case like this where you can't compete, and as girls and as women, like, this is our dream. Like, this is what we were born to do. This is what we put in so much hours into our craft, and to not be able to do what you love is honestly heartbreaking.
So disappointing. Well, sis, we know champions like you are not made overnight. So what was a typical training day like for you? And can you spill what some of your go-to cheat foods were while competing?
Yes. So a day in the life of Gabby Douglas while training was boring, honestly, if I can say. Like, the process is the same thing every day, because our bodies, like, we really need to do the same thing every day, and with anything, because it's muscle memory, and we want to make sure that when we go out to compete, it is like second nature. It is just like walking. And so every single day it's the same thing. But my cheat meals would be definitely something carby, like pasta, pizza.
Yeah, that's my every meal, Gabby.
Potatoes, yeah.
Okay, Gabby, with the Tokyo Summer Games roughly 16 hours ahead of the U.S., what impact could that have on athletes and their need to adjust their sleep in order to perform? I know if I don't get any sleep, I can't perform, and I'm not an athlete. So how can you unjunk your sleep to help? Because you need to talk about that.
Our bodies, our muscles, our minds, like, we definitely need more sleep as human beings, because we're not getting enough of it. And I'm so grateful to be here with Mattress Firm to talk about how to unjunk your sleep. And Mattress Firm is actually kicking off its Unjunk Your Sleep tour. They're going to have experts come and teach you how to unjunk your sleep. They're coming to Houston, Detroit, and New York City. So I recommend just going to junksleep.com for more info.
Thank you so much for coming on, DBL.
Thank you guys so much. You all are so sweet. All the best, and have a good day, you guys.
She gets a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
she landed. The dismount.
Thank you, sis. We'll be right back.
Landing.
Bye, love.
Promotional consideration.
Last April, 3 videos of UFOs were released by the Navy. Then the Office of the Director of National Intelligence weighed in with an assessment of what happened, prompting tweets like this one with almost 3,000 likes claiming the federal government said aliens could be an explanation. So let's verify. Did the U.S. government say the videos show alien aircraft? Our sources are the DNI and an astronomer at the SETI Institute. The report was just 9 pages and didn't even use the term UFO, instead saying there were 144 reports of unidentified aerial phenomena over a 17-year period. A task force determined one instance was a large deflating balloon, but it couldn't explain the other 143.
Although Seth Shostak thinks it might be because of concerns a little closer than Mars.
I think that a much more plausible explanation for the reticence to describe anything in detail is simply because, look, this is the military, the U.S. Navy in this case, and they don't want to reveal too much about the workings of their cameras on board these F-18 Hornets.
Another word missing from the report was alien or extraterrestrial. Shostak thinks it's unlikely these videos really show anything from a galaxy far, far away, and he's part of a team hoping to one day find another intelligent species.
If you're talking about intelligent aliens, the kind that always show up on, Star Trek or wherever else, that you have to look at other solar systems and, around other stars.
So we can verify it's false that the government said the video shows alien aircraft, but they didn't deny it either. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis. Want something verified? Email us or send us a text. For more Verify stories and to sign up for our newsletter, go to verifythis.com.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments, right, Tori?
Yes, we do. Sierra says, I hate when someone doesn't respond to my text and I see them posting on social media, though. Where, you know what I mean?
You see the ... and then it just disappears.
And then disappears. You've been called out. And then Allison says, I agree with Erica. I'll respond when I feel like it. And I appreciate that. I'm going to take that and learn from that because I need boundaries.
All right, call me later. I won't answer. I got boundaries too.
He never does.
Let's see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place.